Okay, here we are. Welcome. This is my playthrough of Dark Souls Remastered. This is my first time doing recording of video and or audio, so if I'm bad at it, please bear with me. And if I'm not bad at it, then yay. We're going to get started. I'm not new to Dark Souls. I've played the original a lot. However, a few things are different here. For one, I haven't played it in a long time, so, maybe I'll be bad at it. I'm also playing with a different controller than when I've played in the past. The first time I played Dark Souls, I played with this old Logitech controller. And today I'm playing with an Xbox 360 controller on my PC. A couple of the buttons are in different places, which is going to be new. Button that is now A is what I'm accustomed to being the holding both hands button. Dodge roll is not where I'm used to it being the holding two hands button. Everything's moved except for the use item button, which is where I expect it to be. So we will see if that messes me up real bad, or if it doesn't. I'm playing the remastered version, so things will be slightly different, but I'm also aware of what most of the changes are in the remastered edition, so I wouldn't expect there to be anything surprising. I will also, for my own challenge's sake, be attempting this run as a run using only the starting Thief class gear. Not because I have any special attachment to that gear or because that gear is particularly good, but because I think it'd be kind of fun to try doing something different. So, we'll see how that goes. If it turns out to be really awful, I might abandon that idea, but I might also not abandon that idea. I probably have to rest here in case I mess it up. They've changed the visual effect there, I think. It used to look so opaque. What else is worth saying about this? I'm doing this run because I've never played Dark Souls 3 due to some circumstances. I wasn't able to play when it came out and have been religiously avoiding spoilers about it. So if you hear me say that just now, please don't take that as an excuse to spoil Dark Souls 3 stuff for me. I do intend to play it. All this to say that I do want to play Dark Souls 3, but thought it would be fun to play my way through the first two games, or replay my way through the first two games first, and then go to Dark Souls 3. I'm recording this because, I don't know, why not? It might be fun. We'll see if it ends up being to my enjoyment. If not, that's not how you play this game at all. If not, then probably I'll disappear and you'll never hear from me again. So that's a possibility. But for now, we're just gonna cruise on through this starting area and see if I can get myself back into the swing of things. See, I just tried to do a dodge roll there, and instead I wielded the weapon in both hands.
Regrettably,
Not what I
have
wanted.
failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who in thine exodus from when thou ringest
I
the
don't
bell
know
of awakening.
if I should be letting the NPCs talk. I've played this game before.
Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart.
I kind of assumed that if you're watching me do this, you've probably played the game before too.
Here, take this.
So I probably won't be spending a terribly great amount of time
Now I must bid
on waiting for the NPCs to say things. If you are looking to experience Dark Souls for the first time, I don't recommend me as a person to watch for that. I'm sure there are better people who have been doing this for longer and will be able to provide a better experience for you in that way. And also, if you're experiencing this for the first time, watch someone who hasn't played it before, because that will be a much truer representation of what this game is like than watching me, where I kind of already know what I'm doing and will not be surprised by much and will probably skip big portions of the game that I don't like. The Thief class does come with the Master Key, which I will be using to skip parts of the game that I don't like, because there are some parts of the game that I don't like, and why should I bother playing them if I don't like them? I also need to relearn all of the timing parries and stuff. So that's part of the reason why we're doing a thief run, is so that I can practice at my parrying. Oh, see, that's bad. In preparation for moving on to the other games where I would hope I'll already be good at it. I got shot because I was noticing that you can see the exit area from over here, which I hadn't noticed before, but you can see the whole exit where you get picked up, and from over here you get a really clear view of the bird's nest. I almost wonder if this was put here because they're expecting you to see this and wonder about it, because it's a lot easier to see the nest from here than it is from down there. Alright, without further ado, let's jump right into the boss fight. I'm going to mess this up because I'm playing Thief and I'm squishy and I don't know if it can one-shot me. This one, we'll see. I just gotta remember which button is the actual dodgeball button. This fight looks better. The textures on him look better in the remaster. Oh boy, I'm really full rusty. This weapon does so little damage. I did more damage there. There must be the effectors on it. Yeah, every 3 hits. Okay, I think she's gonna do that same thing over and over again. Just do it real quick. Oops, I skipped you. Okay, I was more worried about that than I should have been. Apparently, it's been many years since I played this or a game like it, so I thought I might be rustier than I am. But I seem to be doing alright so far, so hurrah for that. We'll proceed on into Lordran and kick things off with Undead Bird then. I'm looking to keep these videos roughly around 20 to 30 minutes apiece. That seems to me a reasonable length of time. That'll also match with my session length. I tend not to play for long periods of time at once, so most of the time I will be taking a session break in between the videos as you see them. We can skip the rest of this cutscene. I just like that part where the bird comes and birds you up. I did a thing with my arms there where I put them out like I was the bird, but you can't see it because I haven't put it to the camera and myself and don't plan to. So I will need to get used to not gesturing in my conversation. Does this count as conversation if I'm the only one talking? I think it probably does. I'm going to call it. I think that's a fair classification on my part. So, given that we're playing a thief, and given that I do not plan on changing my gear at all, and given that the thief knife, the bandit knife that we'll be using for the entire game, which button do I press? Actually, look at this item. This one. Scales well with dexterity. We will be putting a lot of points into dexterity. Normally in a build like this I would also put a lot of points into endurance, but I worry that some of the benefit of endurance will be lost given that I won't be increasing my equipment load at all during the run, so there's no point in getting those nice equip load points, and it will likely make more sense to just be rolling in damage. So certainly that's where we're going to start, and then we may look into getting more vitality and endurance later in the run as those things become issues. Also, disappointingly, the Thief class, of course, comes with an attunement slot and not terrible intelligence and faith scores, which will be of no use at all to me during this run on account of the fact that I'm not ever unequipping this knife, or this shield. So there will be no opportunity for me to hold a catalyst or a talisman, which means that even if I were to buy and attune a spell, I would never get to cast it, which would be silly. So, now, boy, this timing. I'm just practicing my parries here. I know I could just stab him. Alright, this is embarrassing. Never mind. We're just gonna... Oh! My friend, you're next. That's not the button. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm not dying to this. Alright. Let me just treat this like a normal person. No need for me to get all fancy, need to parry everything, just because I think I'm special. I'm certain by now that I have said some curse word or expletive. That seems likely to me. I am not possessed of a strong enough filter to stop myself from doing that. If you or someone watching with you will be bothered by the sounds of me doing that, I apologize, but encourage you to look elsewhere. Avoiding that is not a priority of mine. I'm really mostly doing this for my own amusement. So, yeah. Don't be shocked if you hear me say something that some might be offended by. I will aim not to say anything like truly offensive, but I will probably cuss. Partial. Again, I'm really just practicing that on these nice weak enemies. I have that really slow attack though. Makes it hard to do. But we're going to have to get good at that if we're going to do this run using Bandit Knife, because of the Bandit Knife's only good property is its high critical score. I guess it has some bleed on it too. I have been getting bleed on these enemies, it appears. Can you either fall or not? Oh, no! Oh, no! Ooh, that was, okay, not the button I wanted. I keep pressing that button, I think, because maybe that's where the attack button is in Breath of the Wild, and that's the game like this that I've played most recently. I think that's what it is. So I keep pressing the button that on my Xbox controller is X. And I suspect I'm doing that because I'm looking for... Oh, no! See, I've just done it there. Rats. Okay. That's embarrassing. There's going to be a bit of that. Controller woes. It's going to happen. I'll get used to it. But I pressed B when I was meaning to press A, and I've died as a result. Brace yourself for more moments like that, because it's going to be non-stop. Hopefully, I will eventually get better at this, and then that kind of mistake will no longer be necessary. Necessary is an interesting way to put it. Nothing necessary about that mistake other than that kind of stuff. Ow. Boy, I need to work on those bearings. Put this guy. Fireballs. It's put the souls nice and far back for me, which I appreciate. Oh, right. I've been killing them in 3 hits, but when I take a break in between, the bleed bar depletes, and then I need more hits. So that's why he didn't die, even though I was expecting him to. Oh no, see, I've just done it again. That's twice in a row. Oh gosh, okay. I need to just slow down and be more conscious about, about which buttons I'm pressing. Oh boy. I'm gonna watch this video back after I've released it and say to myself, why didn't you just not release that video? You could have just started over. Nobody would have known. But I'm not going to do that, both because I'm lazy and because I think it's funny when I fall off because I pressed the wrong button. So, hopefully you found it funny also. It's almost in the Dark Souls spirit in a way, because if I were new to this game, I would be dying all the time due to stupid mistakes. They would be stupid mistakes due to not knowing the mechanics, or stupid mistakes due to not having played a game like this before, or not stupid mistakes where just the game pulls some trick on you and you don't see it coming and then die. This time, probably there won't be as many mistakes of those other sorts, but there will be lots of mistakes of the form I'm rusty and I'm using an unfamiliar controller. So they can substitute for one another in a way. Watch This time, when the souls are somewhere where I'm in no danger of falling off, I'm going to do a perfect job picking them up. Boom, I did it. Honestly, I feel somewhat accomplished. I wouldn't have thought that, picking up an item or picking up souls would be a big deal, but as we've recently learned, I'm going to have some challenges unrelated to the normal challenges of completing a Dark Souls run. Alright, we are finally on our way to Undead Bird. Clean up this rat. I've never ever had this rat attack me, but I'm always paranoid that it's going to. So, it gets to die every time. You may have noticed, like I did just then, that the prompt there changed from the controller prompt to the keyboard prompt. I suspect the reason it did this is because I jostled my keyboard tray with my knee, and my mouse moved, and it took that as a standard keyboard mouse input, and thought that I was using a keyboard and mouse. I'm not, though, but it might think that from time to time. Oh, too early. Too late? Unclear. Whatever. That's that. The backstab animation, it's real cool, but I worry that I'm going to see it way too many times during the course of this run. I guess there are some enemies you can't backstab. Those are... Oh, that's a good camera angle. I did turn off the camera wall recovery. I know that for the original Dark Souls that was a recommended setting. I assume that still holds for the remaster. My impression of the remaster is that they didn't really do enough work to have fixed something like how janky their camera was. But maybe they did, and if you happen to know that they did and are also watching this, you could tell me that, and I would change that setting. Keep dragging. But for now, I'll be proceeding with it the way that I would have had it for the original, because without that setting in the original, everything was awful. I can do it when they use those nice fast attacks. It's when they do the really slow ones that messes me up. There it is. Always good to get practice in that sort of thing before you're going to need it. Here we get crossbow guy. Alright, we've reached our first bonfire. We'll get to clean up those guys again. We can go visit the undead merchant. I don't remember enough about what he stocks to remember if there's anything that I'm going to want. Obviously, I won't be buying any gear or weapons or shields from him because of how I won't be changing those. But I will be using items that fit in the bottom bar. This one. So if he has like green blossoms or something, we might want some. I don't know. Titanite? No. Titanite's going to be very important to us, of course. The fact that we are not changing our gear means we're going to want the gear we have upgraded as completely as possible, as quickly as possible. Which is why we will be fighting the Capra Demon eventually, because we need to go into the depths to get the Big Ember. Even though I hate the depths and will not be playing the rest of it, probably. See, I was trying to dodge onto the crates, didn't do it. Okay, we'll kill this guy over here first. Come out, friend, come out. Can I parry the axe? There we go. I guess with that, it's just sort of a matter of learning the particular patterns of each enemy. and how slow their attacks are.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about
I
you.
do.
Then you are trade for souls.
So, what are we looking at here? Repair powder, throwing knife, firebomb. Firebomb reminds me, I should tell you, do I need this? I don't remember what this opens. We'll pick it up. I know it opens the door to the sorcerer guy, who will obviously not be much use to me. But maybe it opens stuff that leads to loot. I don't remember. Repair powder we probably won't need. Throwing knife. We might want to pick up some of those at some point, but I'm not in a rush to get to them right now.
Thank you kindly.
What was I saying? Oh, about firebombs, right. I should tell you about the gift. You may have noticed it when I went to my equip screen, but because the thief comes with the master key, I didn't need to pick that. So instead, I have chosen the Old Witch's Ring. The old ring with no use. I've never taken the Old Witch's Ring before. I know what it does. But I will be curious to see the dialogue myself when we get to that point. Because I've never taken it before, because I've never picked Thief before. So I've always taken the Master Key, because I don't like the deaths, and the Master Key lets you skip them. That's honestly, that's like the whole reason I take the Master Key, is I so deeply dislike going to the deaths. We've reached a pretty good length for this video, and I don't really want to head out towards the Taurus Demon right now, so we'll see if I get enough level up, which I do with more dexterity. I gotta keep that damage coming, or we're never gonna get through the bosses. And then I'm gonna stop the recording for this first video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you have tips or tricks, especially related to recording or sharing this content with you on YouTube, I would love to hear them, because, as I mentioned, I'm a total noob. If you have advice or whatever related to the Dark Souls Remastered, stuff that I should know about it that I don't know having already played Dark Souls, feel free to share that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.